All right, the president's going to issue a new executive order next week as it relates to extreme vetting. You actually have written your own version, if you will, that you feel that would withstand the constitutionality and even get an 8-0 vote if it goes from the Ninth Circuit to the Supreme Court. I'm putting up on the side of the screen the changes you suggested. Explain why they need to be put in place, and specifically why you think you could get an 8-0 Supreme Court unanimous decision if, in fact, they got there.
So the one area where the Ninth Circuit went after the administration, and by the way, I think the order was constitutional. I think the Ninth Circuit was wrong. But I like cases tight. So if I'm going to take a case up that ultimately goes to the Supreme Court of the United States, I want the best facts I can. So where the White House put clearly in a White House memorandum that green card holders, visa holders would not be subject to this extreme vetting order, to the executive order, that came through the White House counsel's office. So the Ninth Circuit said, well, that's not the same as coming through an agency. It's not binding. So what we said was, put a definitive in the order itself, put the definitive language, which is right out of what the Ninth Circuit said the so-called problem was, then put a specific date so there's no question when it comes into effect. And the president has this authority, of course, you know, as we've talked about many times. The Ninth Circuit didn't even bother to cite the law here, 1832F. They didn't even bother to, they ignored it completely.
1182.
The fact is, at the end of the day here, I think this becomes bulletproof. By the way, Sean, I don't know what the Ninth Circuit will do. They may rule against it because that's where they are politically.
Well, 80% rate of overturn is pretty high. I mean, that's by any standard. Jay, great stuff. Thank you for explaining it. This is really important because you get to a police state if they don't get a warrant and they can use surveillance and then leak it and destroy the lives of innocent Americans. Doesn't matter whether you're conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. That is a huge problem for the country.